I got my start running, Google Ads campaigns at an agency. It's been a long time since I did that, and so much has changed since then. But I think what many people who are listening to DGU would find helpful is your take on, what are some of the top three things that you wish you knew now when you first started running Google Ads campaigns?
The first thing that comes to mind is that you bid on keywords, but you pay for search terms. A lot of people will bid on certain keywords. So for us, maybe that's something like demand gen platform, metadata, ABM software, these types of things. And we think just because we're bidding on those keywords, that is what somebody's actually searching when they go to Google and they click on our ad and they go to our landing page. But the reality is you could be bidding on those keywords, and based on your match types, your negative keywords, and your targeting, you could be showing up for the most random things that are completely off base of what that primary keyword is that you're trying to get in front of. So that's a key distinction that I see all the time. So just understand that you're bidding on keywords, but you're ultimately paying for those search terms and those clicks, right? So really making sure that you're looking at the search terms report regularly, especially if it's a new campaign, you don't have a negative keyword list built out, just so you can do a quality check. And as close to perfect as possible, you want that search terms report to reflect like high intent searches that you're actually trying to show up for.
Now, for the people who are listening, do you think that's something that they typically do, or are they relying on the agency that they work with to do that for them?
They usually rely on agencies to do this, and unfortunately I've had the good fortune and I guess bad fortune of auditing a lot of Google Ad accounts that are handled by agencies, and sometimes internally as well. Not, there are good agencies out there, and it's a nightmare. The client thinks they're paying $60 a click on something like CRM software, but they're paying, outrageous prices for searches like, dogs for sale. I don't know, something completely off base that's not related to what they're actually trying to bid on. And unfortunately, they don't have visibility into that because they're a little bit too trusting of agencies, and the agencies, of course, are supposed to be monitoring on a daily basis, but they're not necessarily. A pro tip I always recommend to everyone to just get visibility on this is to go into the Google Ads interface, go to the reporting section, and just schedule a daily send, or at least weekly, of the search terms report. And then every week or every day, you can see your search terms report in your inbox, and that'll give you a quality check to just make sure, hey, are we showing up for the right things? And if you have an agency doing this, it can give you visibility into what you're paying for.
I really wish I knew that. That would have come in very handy when I've been burned by that in the past. So that really hits home for me. All right, what's your second learning?
Second biggest thing is running the math, and really running the math so that you can set expectations with yourself. So many people they start advertising on a new channel and they have no real thought process in terms of what does success look like with this channel. So they get emotional, they turn things off, and they don't give it the time that it needs to really, turn into something. So what I always recommend to everybody just starting out is just figure out what your break-even cost per lead is. So just take your average deal size times your lead to close won rate, and then you can get your break-even cost per lead. That'll at least give you that sense of peace where hey, I can spend up to this much to acquire a lead to break even. And you factor that back from revenue, right? So that'll give you that baseline to set those expectations. The unfortunate thing is so many people, especially with Google Ads, is they compare Google Ads to social or other channels, and you're paying $60 a click on Google. Your cost per lead on average is going to be a lot higher than something on social. But if you look on the back end, in terms of those leads converting into deals and those deals converting into revenue, you'll see that the lead to close won rate for Google Ads is usually a lot higher because of that intent.
So when you have those types of conversations with our customers and stuff you're doing on the side, is that like a foreign topic to many B2B marketers? Or like kind of walk me through how those conversations go. And I'm sure some go well and lots go not so well.
There's two kind of marketers. It's on the one hand, you ask them, hey, what's your break-even cost per lead, or what's your goal? And they'll say, well, we're trying to get leads for $200. And I'm like, awesome. And can I ask, like, why 200? Is there something significant about that number? Oh, it's just what we get on social, so we're gonna run with that. That's kind of like the one camp of people, and then the other camp of people is no, we need leads at $200 because our acceptable cost per lead is $200, and we back factor that from revenue, right? And if you can't do it based on revenue, then just do it based on the opportunity amount. But at least it's based on something logical.
So you've got two camps. Give me a rough ballpark. What's the percent breakdown?
Man, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad out there. I'm not gonna lie. I would say it's probably 60% the first camp, 40% the other camp.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do as marketers, but yeah, I think it's something that, and I've run, paid search campaigns back in the day when I first started, and prior to Metadata, I really relied on agencies to do a lot of that for me. And I think for me personally, you don't really know to ask those questions until you get burned by, agencies or making mistakes yourself,
Yep.
or you have a really good boss that's saying, we're spending X amount on paid search. What's the outcome that this is driving? And until you learn those lessons the hard way, like I didn't really know that those were the questions that I should be asking.
Yeah, when it comes to any of your capture campaigns where you're going to be measuring in terms of, direct attribution, anything, direct is all about running the math. Like paid advertising is all about running the numbers, especially if you're doing capture campaigns. If it's demand creation, then it gets a little bit harder in terms of attribution and things like that. But if you're putting in money into campaigns to drive direct outcomes, like all of that is just coming down to the math and getting visibility into what's actually working and driving pipeline for you so you can scale that further. And that's really the key thing that I think people don't really realize is how mathematical it is on the paid advertising side of things, and really, nailing in your numbers.
You make it sound so simple, but that's because you're a genius.
Definitely a lot easier said than done. There's definitely tools out there to help, but it's a process.
Awesome. So let's get into your third big learning.
The third biggest learning I wish I would want to know when I started with Google Ads is that you don't have to guess. The beautiful thing, and one of the reasons I love paid advertising, is your account is telling you a story. And that story is being told through metrics. So for example, with Google Ads, it's all about learning how to read your account story. And we're talking about Google Ads here, but it's the same thing with like LinkedIn or Facebook, all these different ad channels. And it's like, if you can start to really understand the metrics, and this comes with time and experience, but essentially like they're telling you a story. So I'll give you a real example. If a client says, why are my ads not being seen on the top of Google? Like I'm searching my keywords and never see my ads. Like why are they not being seen? If you look in your Google Ads account, they have metrics called impression share metrics. And using the impression share metrics, this will give you basically an understanding of all the impressions that you could receive for this campaign based on your targeting. What percentage of that pie are you getting? And there's only two reasons your ad is not going to be seen and you're not going to have a higher impression share. Number one is you have a high search loss to rank, meaning you're losing to the competition, your ad rank is low. Or number two, you're running out of budget. You have a high search loss to budget. So that answers that question. And then from there, you can double click even further. Well, hey, my search loss to rank is really high, meaning I have a low ad rank, all my competitors are beating me. Well, guess what? If you know the formula of ad rank, ad rank equals your max cost per click bid times quality score times the expected impact of ad extensions. So now you can triple click even further into which one of those variables of ad rank do you need help on. Is it your quality score? Well, guess what? Quality score breaks down into landing page experience, ad relevance, and expected click-through rate. So you can kind of go down this, rabbit hole and essentially get to the root cause of what's causing that overlying problem.